information for you at a later date. So next screen, please. And so during this presentation, we will be going over welcome and introductions, competition overview, reports and scoring, prizes and awards, recruitment, resources, reimbursements, patch contest, and I am FNL. Next. So to introduce our team, Kevin Crosby is the director of the Wisconsin Space Grant Foundation. He is not on this call. However, he is a great part of our team and all that we do here in Wisconsin and with FNL. I am Christine Bowles, your assistant director. Danielle Wieland is our project coordinator. Connie Ingberg is our project support assistant. Frank Noble, technical coordinator. Aaron Ashley, project assistant, former alumni, and Mark Abatasaway, our advisor liaison from Boeing Company. We also work with Tripoli, Illinois, which is Bob Justice, and he is available during our launch weekend to come and assist us. On the line with us today, we do have Christy Hassan from Kennedy Space Center.
Hi, everyone. Welcome.
So, first time for us is
Christine, can I interrupt you 1 second? I'm hearing another voice. Are you?
So I am sharing an office, and there was an important phone call that came through from my husband. So unfortunately,
perfect. Okay, I just didn't know if I was hearing things. Thank you.
To be heard, my apologies. So hopefully we'll get to somebody else's screen quickly, and then other folks will take over. So this year, with COVID, we've been recruiting, and we are excited to have 3 new teams. So our 3 new teams to the competition are Cal State Polytechnic University in Pomona, University of California, Davis, and University of Washington. Returning are College Menominee Nation, Fort Lewis College, Northern Arizona University, Salish Kootenai College, and Queens University. Now, one of the things that you may notice is that it says Moon Challenge teams, and due to the number of teams that have registered this year, we will only be hosting 1 challenge. And we'll go over that in just a few minutes. Next page. Let's see. You know what? Connie, do you want to take over this slide for me, please?
Sure thing. So supplied by us, the Wisconsin Space Grant Consortium, to the teams will be a $4,000 project travel award. And you can see the reimbursement deadlines listed there. Launch weekend hotel accommodations and select meals. So while you're here, we will be providing a maximum of 3 rooms for 3-night stay. Also certain meals, Friday breakfast and lunch, Saturday lunch and dinner. Then the Saturday dinner is a big banquet that we have. A low-powered rocket. Each team will receive a low-powered rocket for demonstration flight requirement, and new teams will receive a launch pad as well. And then if you're a new school, you'll also receive 2 rocketry reference books, Model Rocket Design and Construction, as well as Modern High-Powered Rocketry 2. That will help you in your build. Also competition ejection charges, competition rocket motors and motor casing, and then a report feedback from our judges to help you along the way.
One of the pieces of information on this slide to please make note of is the date for the motor selection. We do need to have that. That's a firm deadline, and the reason why is because we need to order those in and make sure that we have them for you in time for the competition. Connie, will you take the next 2 slides, please?
Sure. So the launch weekend here in Wisconsin is April 22nd through the 25th. And you will arrive on Thursday evening and get settled in your hotel. Friday, we will start bright and early with a welcome breakfast and competition kickoff. You also will have time to complete your rocket at Teamwork Day. And there will be motor build workshops and breakout sections. And then you'll also have your final safety inspection with Frank, and you will be giving your oral presentations on Friday evening. On Saturday, April 24th, that is our launch day at Richard Bong Recreational Park. And we also have our closing banquet where we have various awards that you will be receiving. If by chance we have bad weather on Saturday, we have a rain date of Sunday, April 25th. Also on Sunday will be certification launches for individuals who like to get level 1 certified in rocketry. Next slide. So the key changes for this year are that we are a NASA Artemis Student Challenge. We're very excited about being a part of that program. And Launch to Learn workshops. Because of COVID, we have several different options available to you for those workshops and learning to become certified in level 1 rocketry. We have the option of having a virtual workshop where you're in your state and we're here. And then we also are willing to come to your institution if you would like to have a workshop in your state, or you could have a workshop coming here to Wisconsin at Carthage College. Design review webinars. So we are going to have many more webinars than we have had in the past, and they will be held before each due date as a refresher and to help you to be prepared for your various due dates. Engineering webinars include topics such as project management, RockSim, avionics, altimeters, recovery, and structures. And these will be held by several of our judges and staff that we have to help you in understanding engineering. New appendixes are in our handbook to provide more support and guidance. And this year, for the first time, we are requiring a TRA or an NAR mentor, which will help you where you are in your state. Also, RockSim is going to be a requirement, and excitingly, they are providing student discounted, what's the word I'm looking for? Licenses.
License.
Yes, licenses. So you will be able to do that. We require one student to have a license, but encourage more than one. Reimbursement process is a little bit different. We'll be getting to that later in the slides. And then we're very excited about the training videos that we are working on that will be available for you to help you understand the process even more. Christine, are you taking this one or?
Nope, I'm gonna step in now. So hi everyone, Danielle Weiland, project coordinator. We're gonna talk a little bit now about the questions on everyone's mind, right? What are we doing this year for COVID, since it is a team-based in-person program? So things for you guys to be thinking about right now are in the event that we may not be able to have a launch here in Wisconsin, trying to source a local launch site for you to hold one there with like close to your university. You also need, as we required and talked about in the application, you'll need a TRA or NAR mentor as well to make sure that you are launching according to all the rules and regulations if we need to launch, like I said, at your university. Christine was going to talk about this, but I know that I don't know if it's still
the launch site protocol, just to let everybody know that at the launch site, we will So the launch site protocol, just so you know, we will have masks mandatory. You will have temperature taken, and then you will also have to sign a waiver, a COVID-19 waiver for Tripoli Rocketry Association. We will be following the guidelines at Carthage College for those protocols. And then also we are trying to make virtual, hybrid, and in-person planning that will meet the needs of your team, but also meet the needs of the competition. We'll be watching the coronavirus very carefully, and our #1 goal is to protect your health and the safety of your team members, and of course, our team members as well.
So things that you can do, you know, there's a lot of factors for you to think about that make this kind of an even more challenging year than if you've competed in the past. So FNL can be difficult if your school is virtual or your labs are closed, or if your lab space is limited to only 1 student at a time. So now more than ever, your team will need to use digital communication and project management skills. So some tools and tips you could use to leverage as you're developing your plan for the year would be to utilize the team structure that we provide in Appendix C1 of the competition handbook to kind of break down the project into workable pieces that one person can work on at a time. And that can even be done remotely as needed. Another option would be to create a virtual collaborative workspace. You can use Google Workspace, Microsoft Teams, Slack, Discord. There's tons of free options out there. We also recommend just setting a recurring weekly virtual meeting so that everyone knows what to expect each week. You can also create an online lab or logbook for people to track the work and the work of the team, since you're probably not going to all be together. It'll just kind of help throughout the week to see where everyone's at. You could also use project management tools such as a Gantt chart. And then just be mindful of the limited lab access you may have. So think of alternative work sites or creating a lab schedule that follows your school's COVID requirements. So if you are using a shared lab space, just make sure that students and everyone is following, proper protocols required by your school, by your state, and that you have proper PPE and cleaning supplies readily available for the lab. And then just a reminder that kind of everything leading up to the CDR can be done virtually or remote. So sourcing your parts, designing your rocket and rock sim, all of that can be done remote. So the build doesn't necessarily have to begin until we hit the critical design review, which we kind of touch on at the calendar later. But there's lots of options for you to be successful during COVID if you're being totally remote. So don't let it discourage you. If you have questions, definitely reach out to us and we can help you kind of think outside the box for how you can be successful as a team while dealing with COVID restrictions. Frank?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Frank Noble here, Technical Advisor. I'm going to go through the Moon Challenge design objectives with you today. Just to add on to the COVID situation in flying rockets, Tripoli has been conducting launches, very safe launches at Richard Bong since May. The DNR has been very gracious, and we had to sign waivers from them also, indicating what our intentions were and their safety guidelines. And also we forwarded safety guidelines to all the members that attend our launches, and it's been well attended, very safe, and very strictly that we have implemented guidelines for temperature, mask, gloves, and hand sanitizer, and also social distancing when you come within the launch area or the registration area. So it worked out very well. The Wisconsin DNR have been very gracious and complimented on our procedures and what we did on the safety guidelines on this situation we have. So let's move on to the Moon Challenge design objectives. This year, apparently we're going to be doing the Moon Challenge only and no Mars Challenge because of the participation of teams. So the teams are required to design and construct two trackable space debris objects to be stowed inside the high-powered rocket. The rocket shall reach an apogee of 3,500 to 4,000 feet AGL, actual ground level, and deploy the debris at drogue or at the point of the main ejection sequence of the flight profile. The debris will be designed to descend under its own its own recovery system and have the total weight not to exceed 32 ounces or 107 grams. The telemetry system is required to demonstrate the debris that can be tracked from the ground. See the competition handbook on page 16 for the challenge and requirements that you will need. Slide. This is the moon flight profile for the 2021 FNL challenge. As you can see, we have liftoff. Cameras can be mounted in any arrangement you need. I'm thinking the handbook says you can also have a camera inside the rocket to show the action of what's going on as a nominal separation, which is normal, and a flight anomaly, which is you can see on the at apogee, you can see the hatch is open for some reason. There's a hatch open, and it should be recorded on your flight recorder, indicating that there's been a breach in the airframe of some sort. And of course, the one on the bottom of that one indicates that the rocket has separated, and it's a anomaly. And of course, to the right, as the rocket descends, you have dual deployment with the main chute for a safe recovery, of course. Next slide. Safe and successful flight. The safe flight must achieve a launch, stable vertical flight during ascent. Recovery systems must be successfully deployed. Rocket must be recovered in a flyable condition. That will be judged by the RSO person when you return your rocket from a successful flight. A successful moon challenge flight must achieve a safe flight and stay within the parameters of 3,500 to 4,000 feet AGL apogee flight profile. Next slide. Competition criteria: all teams, all projects during the construction process must have a minimum of 2 scheduled virtual inspections with the design safety officer. That'll be to be announced, and probably one of them is going to be me. All projects must be 90% constructed, ready to fly 2 weeks prior to the launch date. 90%, of course, entails the airframe, motor mount, fins, payload, airframe, couplers, and bulkheads should be permanently attached and ready to fly. All projects must be designed to enable the motor deployment charge as a backup recovery system at apogee. The final competition projects must have the documented flight stable RockSim simulation profile with each or with the rocket that you plan on flying. Photographs are required during construction of the motor mount and the fillets assembly process to ensure proper construction techniques have been adhered to. You have to show pictures of the actual motor mount and through the wall fin construction and other vital parts that are constructed in the design of your rocket. The center, the projects must have a aerodynamic design, no odd rocks, of course, no flying pyramids or saucers or spools. Actually, those are kind of fun, but that's not at this competition. The center of pressure, the CP, and the center of gravity, CG, must be indicated on the rocket. Next slide, please. Competition criteria summary. All projects will be judged and design reviews, written or oral, and oral presentations, the prediction versus the actual apogee and the flight. Bonus points will be earned through outreach efforts. Electronic payload bays will be judged on neatness and simplicity. You can see the diagram at the bottom there. It's a little overboard, but I took a picture of that and I thought that was pretty unique, and he has a very neat wiring aspect of his altimeter. Next slide. Competition scoring. This is for all teams. Virtual presentations. Pardon me?
I can take over if you want. This is
Oh,
Aaron.
you're there. Yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
So hey guys, this is Aaron Ashley, the project assistant, works as systems engineer at Raytheon in Tucson, Arizona, and Omaha, Dakota Sioux. So continuing on with the scoring, kind of an overview is we'll have virtual presentations with you guys. There's another slide on those, but that'll be live feedback every few months. And your 4 reports, they'll each carry equal weight, and the subsequent ones will be based on the ones you submit before, so they're kind of cumulative documents. And then there's just some details there on how we score. Next slide. So for the written design reports, the reports overall, they're worth 75% of the competition score. And these will be the Word document ones that you'll show your design and construction progress and simulation. And there's the information on the rock sim, as Connie mentioned before. And we provide Word templates for you guys to start off of. The link is down there. And then we're going to be holding a series of Zoom webinars. I'll be presenting most of them that'll go over each of these reports, and we'll do that about a month before they're due. Next slide. And these virtual ones, these will complement your written ones, but these are kind of a chance for you to see the judges and us again face to face on Zoom. But they're 10 minutes. You summarize your preliminary design review, critical design review, whichever one it's for. High level stuff, so the judges can offer you immediate feedback at that time. The written feedback will come at the written report. Yeah, it'll be 10 minutes, and we'll assign you a time that week. It'll happen between like Monday and Thursday of the given week on the schedule that's on the website. Next slide. And then come launch weekend, whether it's in person or it happens virtually, this is like the big presentation that you give. So it's a little longer and more in detail than your virtual design reviews, but it's we still limited you to 10 minutes, but this is more of a cumulative thing that we offer you more feedback at the end. And this is kind of how did you guys end up with the whole design cycle of your rocket. Next slide. So this is an overview of the rubric throughout the whole year. So 75% are the reports and virtual reviews, the oral presentation at launch weekend, 5%, and then the actual launch weekend performance and how your rocket and challenge performs, 20% of your score. And then the down there is the bonus for doing outreach to your community. And then
So competition awarded prizes are based on a couple different things, and these top few are based on the scoring that Aaron just reviewed. The grand prize award is $3,000 with an invitation to a NASA center. Second prize is $2,000. Third prize is $1,000. The aesthetic award is the team whose rocket has the most innovative and professional appearance. It's kind of a fun award. Team spirit is chosen by your peers, by the other teams. And it's the team that shows an interactive spirit, helpfulness, and cooperation. The altitude award is for the team whose actual apogee is closest to the predicted apogee in the flight readiness report. And then the judges award is chosen by our judges. And it's the team who meets the goals of the program and exemplifies hard work and determination throughout the project. The Next Step Award is up to $15,000 Project Team Travel Award with an invitation to student launch at Marshall Space Flight Center and or Rock On at Wallops Flight Facility. And the Outreach Award is new this year. It's a $500 award to the team who has really shown initiative in having an outreach education program in their area. The Patch Design Award is also new this year. Not only will the designer of the 2021 patch have their patch made into an actual patch that all the teams receive, but they will also receive a $100 award. And then the Team Advisor Mentor Stipend is up to $1,000. And of course, it is given to the advisor and mentors that meet all the conditions of participation in the award letter.
All right, let's transition a little bit and think about what your teams may look like. So as a reminder, we do provide a team structure with suggested roles in Appendix C1 of the competition handbook. But in general, we recommend 4 to 6 team members. As an advisor, your role is mainly to support the team and keep the students on track. So you should make sure you try and make time to attend the student-led weekly meetings and be in frequent contact with the team lead. If you are a new advisor this year, we're excited to have you here, number 1. Number 2, Mark, our advisor liaison, will be able to help pair you with a veteran team advisor. And then there's also going to be an advisor handbook that is launched this year to help you out. As the team lead, your role is very heavy on communication, so you'll need to make sure all parties are in the loop as needed. So that's your team members, advisors, our WSGC office, and then your TRA or NAR mentor as needed. You'll be responsible for document submission as the team lead, so please keep track of submission deadlines. You have a couple different resources for that. So I believe Connie this morning shared the First Nations Launch Google Calendar. The calendar is also on the FNL website, and then you'll more than likely receive email updates with big events coming up from us. And then as a last note for this topic, we know funding is tight right now for schools, so we highly recommend you reach out to your state's space grant consortium. There's a link right there that links, maybe someone can drop it into the chat for us, but that will link you to the list of the contact info for each state's space grant. And they're more than likely going to have, some extra funding this year due to lower participation rates. So definitely reach out to them and see what resources or potential funding they have available to support you with any additional project costs or travel funds you may need.
And with that being said, I do want to welcome, I did see that Robert Wingley is on with us, and he is the Washington Space Grant Consortium Director. So thanks for joining us, Robert.
Not a problem.
And then favorite thing to talk about, team recruitment. So many of you have expressed concern about, bandwidth this year and student recruitment for teams. So we wanted to give you a few quick tips for boosting your student engagement and team recruitment efforts. Some of these things include holding 5 to 10 minute, really short presentations in classes or club meetings. This can be virtual or in person. I was doing that the last couple weeks, so you can feel free to reach out to me if you have questions about how to go about that process. After you have these kind of in-class presentations, you should be able to gather a list of students who have expressed interest, and then you can kind of publicize a virtual recruiting event, which again, we're having one tomorrow for Carthage, so I can help you with that process. But during that recruiting event, you kind of can talk about what team roles you're looking to fill, and you can also try and get an alumni or a couple alumni to provide testimonials or attend the recruiting event to talk about how the program impacted them, because one of the most beneficial things about participating in FNL as a student is it does help launch you into a career in aerospace or aeronautics, so that can be really impactful for getting students to buy into participating in your program. You could also think about tapping into new applicant pools this year, such as chemistry club or a coding club or Society of Women and Engineers, whatever you have on campus. You know, they're probably still meeting virtually, even though they're not in person. So definitely recommend just kind of think outside the box and who you think would be interested in this type of a program. You could also think about highlighting the Launch to Learn workshop, where students can get their level 1 certification and get hands-on training for how to design, build, and fly a rocket. So some of you may have better recruiting tactics than what we've mentioned here. So again, like, feel free to drop that into the chat and share it with everyone so that, you know, everyone is really kind of getting the most out of the ideas we have in this pool of people. So I'm going to transition us into a overview video now. I'm only going to probably have us watch like the first minute just to be mindful of time. So let's take a look. You can use this video. We'll send out the final version later and we'll put it up on the website, but you can use this video in your recruitment. It's really thorough. When I watch it, it really gets me excited for the program. So let's take a look.
All right, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Native Americans often look to the skies for inspiration, from the stars at night to an eagle soaring high above. The same inspiration comes from within the Native American community. So it seemed like a natural fit for NASA when Wisconsin Space Grant Consortium started the First Nations Launch Program, the first national high-powered rocket competition for Native American undergraduate students. First Nations Launch is simple. Students attending a tribal college, a Native American non-tribal serving institution, or who are members of the American Indian Engineering and Science Society, ACES Collegiate Chapter at any other college or university, are invited to design, build, and then fly a high-powered rocket.
And this is it. You don't need any experience. You just need an interest in bringing your rocket to the launch pad.
All right. So like I said, it's like 9 minutes, really, really thorough video. It's new this year, updated. So definitely use that for recruitment and watch it when you get a chance. So also new this year, we have additional video series that will be coming out. So we're working on them. Be on the lookout for training videos on avionics, recovery systems, rocket assembly, RockSim, and other videos to just help supplement the other webinars we're having about, you know, project management and that kind of thing. And it's also going to help supplement the content in the competition handbook.
So this is what I get really excited about. It's the Launch to Learn workshop. This will be our, I believe, 4th year hosting rocket workshops, but this year we get to do it a little bit differently. And so there are 3 options for those who have the ability to travel. We will host a rocket workshop at Carthage College. For those who don't have the option of traveling from where their institution is, we can come to you as an option, or the third option would be to host a virtual rocket workshop. And so it's a 1 to 2 day rocket build. Typically we try to get through a full rocket build on a Saturday, but if we end up doing it virtually, we'll probably space that out a little bit. Everybody that attends receives a level 1 certification with Tripoli Rocketry Association or the National Association of Rocketry, which I'm really excited about. And then we provide all the materials and the supplies for each team member that is participating in this. So what we need from you is, from the advisor, would be a letter of request submitted to us by November 10th stating you would like to participate in the rocket workshop. We are funding 3 individuals from your team to participate in the rocket workshop if you are coming to Carthage. If you are doing it at your institution or virtually, there are other options because we don't have the travel costs associated with the workshop. So that is the rocket workshop. Like I said, we've had several folks go through. The individuals in the bottom of the picture participated in the program last fall and received their level 1 certificate. And so now all of our team members, as far as on our admin team, are all level 1 certified or higher as well, which is really exciting. Next.
Hello again. The Tripoli certification level 1 and 2. All students that participate are eligible for membership and certification. The purchase of a rocket motor. Rocket, see Frank and Mark for guidance. Build rockets. Building a rocket individually, not as a team effort. Bring 90% ready-to-fly rocket to the competition. Launch certification rocket competition weekend would be on a Sunday. The donor will provide Tripoli membership fee for level 1 certification. Level 2 certification tests are available at 8 a.m. on the workshop date on, I believe that's Friday, April 23rd, 2021. Level 2 certifications must be passed in order to fly certification rockets on competition day. And of course, you cannot use your competition rocket for a level 2 certification. Cost will equal $10 for a launch fee for your certification attempt and the purchase of a rocket motor. Last day of registration for certification is March 1st, 2021. Links for additional information will be at this website.
All right.
And just if I can, before you start, the Tripoli certification level 1 and 2 is separate from the rocket workshop that we host, the Launch to Learn rocket workshop. So if somebody does not participate in the rocket workshop, then they can choose to do a certification separately.
Right.
Okay. So I've already touched on this a little bit with just kind of keeping your team on track. It's super critical this year. So let's just go over some tips. Number 1, just make sure that you are keeping a project schedule that works for the team as a whole. So make sure it's easily accessible, make sure the content works for all the team members of the team, and make sure that it is updated regularly so that you can kind of anticipate any scheduling issues. For instance, if you have or you're having software issues or there's shipping delays that put you behind schedule, you want to make sure you kind of tackle that as early as possible. You can model the schedule after phases outlined in the calendar, such as like the concept phase, design phase, and so on. And we should definitely include deadlines for purchasing because you may experience shipping delays due to COVID. So keep that in mind and build enough of a buffer into your schedule. And then include report deadlines because they factor into your team's scoring, if you remember that from what Erin talked about. We'll be hosting a project management webinar on November 16th to discuss this kind of in more detail and in depth. So again, this is just like a high level overview. And if you haven't figured it out by now, the FNL website is going to be your best friend during this competition. So it's going to have the most up-to-date information and content for your team. Please take some time to navigate through the different sections so that you're able to find the important documents we're asking for, such as the media release form, which everyone will need to fill out and sign, competition handbook, reimbursement forms. Again, those are new this year, new forms, they're updated. So please, if you have the old reimbursement forms, toss them out. Save the new forms, make sure you know where they are on the website. And then there's also a really detailed frequently asked questions section that will be uploading trainings onto the website as well though too. So tons of content online for you. Make sure you know where everything is and you can find it. Mark?
All right, hey everybody, Mark Abataswe, former project assistant, current advisor liaison this year, and then past participant in the FNL competition. I'm also Ojibwe First Nation from Manitoulin Island in Canada. So new for this year, we kind of created some more advisor support, the role I'm going to take on. We have an advisor handbook that we want the advisors to have access to in conjunction with the student handbook. We want to work with the advisors a little more about retention, so being able to maintain your teams from year to year and grow the size of your team and expand to other competitions as well. So advisor mentorship, as mentioned in previous slide. So we'll tap some of the veteran advisors to maybe mentor some of the new advisors. I think the split, we only have a few new teams this year. So we have more veteran advisors than returning advisors this year. So that'll be a good mix. Again, we mentioned earlier outreach efforts. So we want to encourage more teams to do community outreach with STEM in their community, whether it's going to high schools or just presenting the rocket research to anyone else in the community to get support. And then just talking a little bit more about and informing the teams about the next step opportunities, such as the NASA Student Launch Initiative, which takes place in Huntsville, Alabama. The Rock On competition, which takes place in, I think it's Wallops. And then there's other opportunities as well, such as Spaceport America Cup. I think there's one team on here that, or one school that also attends the Spaceport America Cup. Next slide. Team mentors. So one thing that's very important now that you've submitted your NOIs, we have access to your suggested mentors. So we're going to verify that your mentors are actually trained and certified, and if not, we're going to help you find a new mentor. So each team needs one faculty advisor and one rocketry mentor. So the advisor is usually non-technical for many of the teams. It's just someone, an ACES chapter advisor or something like that. Could be administrative person, just to help the team get set up at the school and process the reimbursements and get a workspace and access to the workshops. The rocketry mentor, however, is the one who's experienced in high power rocketry. And that's the one that kind of handles the motors and observes the ins and outs of the build and the design, and make sure that the team is building safely and correctly. So we want our mentors to be active TRA, which is Tripoli Rocketry Association, or NAR, which is National Association of Rocketry member. They must be certified at or above the level of the team rocket. And they must be local to the team with access to a certified launch site. So the advisor liaison, which is myself, I can help the teams find a local mentor if they're struggling. I know many of the teams are especially the returning teams, are good. We know their mentors are certified already. So there's two approaches to finding a mentor. You can use the Tripoli or the NAR website to find a local club or contact in your area. Or Tripoli or NAR can also help you find a mentor in your area by reaching out to them or letting us know, and we can pass on to the Tripoli or NAR respective boards to help find a member that way.
Okay, so speaking about the reimbursement system that we have two different options. When you're submitting your reimbursements, you can either do that through your institution. So FNL Team would submit their reimbursement request to us through your university or college, or you can do it individually. And so an individual, an advisor, team lead could submit the reimbursement directly to us for supply and travel expenses. And so you'll see that if you choose to do that individually, we have two deadlines, March 5th as well as May 10th. And then you would submit your digital receipts and reimbursement forms through the instructions. So kind of back to that again, what Danielle had mentioned, if you could go to the next slide. All the information that you need in order to do this would be on our website. So once again, as Danielle said, spend some time on the website just getting to know all the tools and tips and frequently asked questions and things like that. You'll find it there. And of course, if you don't, you can always call me or Danielle. So the reimbursement forms, as Danielle mentioned, are new. You can find those, as I said, on the website. Email reimbursements directly to me, Connie Engberg, at that email address. And just make sure that you're thorough so that your reimbursement is not delayed because it's incomplete. So the request forms and the instructions are found on the website under tools and tips, as you can see stated there.
So every year we do host a patch contest, and which Connie talked about a little bit earlier, and students design the patch and submit it, and we select one of those designs for the annual patch. So this year, due to the fact that we are not going to be hosting the Mars Challenge, it will represent the Moon Challenge. And so individuals or groups can submit that, and we will be getting that information out to you this month, and then the designs will be due in March. And so in this slide, you can see the 2019 winner and then the 2020 winner as well.
And then to kind of wrap things up, I know it's been a lot of information, but FNL is really about, you know, the heart and soul is you and your team. So we want to see whatever photos, whatever videos you have, send them to us or tag us on social media with the hashtag #IamFNL. We really want to see what you guys are doing throughout the year. So if you can, take the time, post a photo or a 30-second video clip, and then we'll be highlighting that on our social media, in our news, to our affiliates, all of that kind of stuff. So be creative, tag us. If you don't know what our social media handles are, they are on the website, but we can try and drop them into the chat again. So as we lead up to this, we'll be posting whatever content we see from you throughout the year. And then people who do a 30-second video clip will be featured on the launch weekend. And then I'm also considering, because I do have the social media for Wisconsin Space Grant and FNL, doing kind of like story takeovers for people who are doing really cool weekend work as we lead up to the launch weekend. So if you have questions about what's acceptable or getting ideas, you can email me. But yeah, I want to see whatever you have and help us fill our social media.
And with that, we have concluded the presentation. I'm going to open it up for questions and answers, and relying on my team to answer some of them.
Connie or Danielle, I have a question. This is Lily from Cal Poly. So we're relatively new and novice. I work really closely with John Kosmatka, UC San Diego. I think there was a slide. Do I reach out to him? I already have another project going with him for Native American students.
Sure, you are more than welcome to. When we send out your official award letter, John will actually get a copy of that award letter. But yes, we would still encourage you to chat with them. Sometimes they have innovative ways of helping or sponsoring a team. Sometimes they don't, but it's always worth having that conversation. We've even had some of our space grants travel with the teams and come competition weekend. So North Dakota, Montana, Arkansas, I'm trying to think, we've had folks from Alaska come. So we've had different folks from around the country come out for the launch from Space Grant.
Okay, but the reimbursement should not come through him, right? To send it to you.
No, the reimbursement. So that would be above and beyond what you receive from Space Grant or from First Nations launch. So you'll get $4,000 from us plus the advisor stipend. And so sometimes we find that folks that come from California or Hawaii, their cost might be a little bit more because of the travel expense. And so if they want to have multiple team members come, sometimes they'll reach out to different space grants to see if there's additional help that can come along with that.
First of all, thank you in advance for all of.
Hi, I also had a question. I'm from Cal Poly Pomona with Lily. I had a question about the team membership and just a couple about that. So you said on average it's 4 to 6. How often do you see like 6 team members or more? and if we should limit it to 6, but also if there are, so is our team only supposed to be Cal Poly students as well?
Mark, do you want to take that
Okay.
question, please?
Uniform.
Sorry, technical difficulty. How often do we see? It's okay to have more than 6. I think our renowned team is UCLA. They usually have something 15 to 20 students. It gets a little unwieldy to manage a team that large. So if you did have any more than 6, 8, 10 is okay. But you'll just find it's difficult to find enough work for everyone. Was there another part of that question?
And would the team members strictly be Cal Poly students for the Cal Poly team?
Oh, no, yeah, we had that discussion a little earlier today, actually. No, so you can also recruit from other schools in your area. I believe I did that myself when I was a student competing. We had ACES members from other schools that were within an hour away that we invited to join our team because they didn't have a large enough chapter to form their own team. And that's totally acceptable to us, as long as the predominant, like the main members of your team are from your institution.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
I have another question. I was just reading the RFP for that. Our teams are supposed to be ACES Native American, right? Because I'm also SWE, but I didn't invite them because we wanted to keep it for our Native American students. So is it like a mixed, is it this particular competition? Because we work really closely with Saboba and Morongo. We have a lot of outreach to our tribal schools, our elementary schools. And so the other project I have with UC San Diego, California Space Grant is with the tribal schools. These are elementary schools, middle. And so is this competition for ACES, or there's a mixture? Because we have 100% Native American in our team, but I'm seeing comments that we can have SWE, NSBE, and I didn't do that because I thought it was supposed to be for Native American students.
So the competition is primarily for Native American students. And so ACES does not require somebody to be Native American to be an ACES member. So that is where we have taken our lead from. So we will have teams that are primarily ACES from members, but there may be other individuals that make up the rest of their team. And especially when sometimes we get into the tribal schools or some of the smaller ACES chapters, and they're trying to come up with 4 team members to represent their school. So there may be a mix.
I have a question, hopefully maybe for some of the returning advisors too. Given that we're all probably new to this COVID, University of Washington, we're going to still be online for winter quarter. So how critical is it that you actually get the students all together? Because right now, I know like our student lead, Chison, who's on this, he's still in Hawaii. And we do have other students that could be staying at their home, home city, hometown, instead of coming to University of Washington, Seattle. So we may be entirely virtual, that we may never really truly get together as a group in person, even just 2 or 3 of us. So how do we try to manage those kind of dynamics?
I mean, I think we're all navigating that, Scott, this year. It's a challenge, as many of us are, either doing hybrid or virtual. So the goal is, through critical design, you should be able to do almost everything virtually by creating your reports, etc., and doing your rock sim simulations. And then after that, it may require, there may be a student that puts together the payload. Mark, I'm going to let you, Mark or Frank, let you guys talk a little bit more about the construction, but up to CDR, we really think that you have the ability to have students work virtually, because they should be doing everything through RockSim, redefining before they even start purchasing any parts for their rocket.
I can follow on that too, Scott, or for the other teams as well. So, we'll be keeping an eye on COVID. Hopefully, we'd like the teams to be able to build together in the spring on campus. But you can divide up the work and build sections, individually. And then, what's the word I'm looking for? Just as an industry engineer, for example, I work for Boeing out in Seattle, and it's the same thing in industry, right? We have, a certain company builds our wings here, and another company builds our engines here, and another company builds our cockpit there. And in the end, it all comes together for final assembly in one location. So that's something maybe that the teams can keep in mind as you go. Think about, how do we divide up the rocket and build it in sections and then integrate it together at the very end.
Okay, thank you. That helps. Yeah, because I was just thinking that, to build it, only one person is going to build it because if they're need to ship all the parts to that one person, but if we can, work on that to break it up.
Yeah, we're hoping that each person would have a task to do to design a particular part of the rocket and collaborate with each other. And if you had a simulcast with one of us, me, Mark, or Aaron, on the design of it, or assistant, we're here for you. Any other questions?
Yeah, I had a question. So I noticed that we're only doing the Moon Challenge, and you guys showed a description of it, but that to me, part of it looked like part of the Mars Challenge as well. Did you guys change it up or add parts to it?
We just did not show the debris being deployed from the rocket at apogee or during the main deployment. The only thing the Moon Challenge is to show what's going wrong and what's going good on a rocket when it's going up, and you have to capture that on the flight recorder.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, sorry. It's because the diagram you put up showed the debris in that.
Oh, I did not see that.
The PowerPoint that you guys did earlier, I noticed that the degree tracking was included in that. So that's kind of where I got a little confused.
Yeah, sorry, that was our mistake. Go off the handbook.
Okay, just making sure. I was like,
Did
oh,
not
maybe
change
they
that.
combined them a little, but okay, thank you.
My apologies. I thought I got it switched out before the meeting. If there aren't any other questions, it's 5 o'clock and I want to be respectful of everybody's time. If you do have questions, you can reach out to any one of our team members. We are happy to assist and answer them for you. I'm hoping to be able to get award letters out to you by the end of the week. And then they will be due back to us 2 weeks after that. So thank you again for joining us. We look forward to a great year, and we really appreciate you guys